It's NFL Week 8, 6 teams on bye, 3 less games to choose from. That's right, it is Byemageddon. Good evening, gentlemen. It is a very late evening for all. How are we doing, Brad? That's right. I've cracked him up already. It is Byemageddon. You are listening to G'day Gridiron podcast. Thanks, brought to you by the Aussie Gridiron Network. I'm all over the shop, and we are 30 seconds in. How you going, Brad?
I'm doing well. I'm stoked. I can't believe we're in week 8 already. I'm a happy chappy just because I was on the merch store today looking at all the cool different G'day Gridiron merch that's out there. So I was thinking of getting myself a coffee cup, believe it or not.
Oh, excellent. Great plug, Brad. Well done. Like a true professional.
Beautiful work.
Yeah.
Absolute professional. Matty C would be incredibly proud right now. I know he's got a grin on his face from ear to ear. Isaac, how you going, bud?
Yeah, I'm going really well. One of my late nights here, so let's go.
Yes, we are recording this very late at night right now. It is 11 p.m. for Isaac and I on a Thursday evening. Both of us, the two guys that get up before dawn every morning, are right here at 11 p.m. Because, you know, the teacher can't get on before a certain time in Queensland.
I feel like I'm 18 again going out on a Thursday night.
I know. I tell you what. Well, that'll be me driving a customer's car an hour each way tomorrow just to get it calibrated because some idiot decided to unplug a sensor and turn the ignition on, which I was pretty pissed about today. So I was like, that's fine.
Oh, no.
I'll get up at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning and go fix it, shall I? So can a mother and just doof playing in the customer's car all the way down, I think. Might take my headphones.
Breakfast of
just
champions.
the full experience. How are you, Nick?
Good. I'm liking for the YouTube viewers the landscape view as well.
I hope
It's a
it
bit
comes
of a-
through on YouTube, to be honest, the landscape view. It is quite good. Brad said
Yeah,
he
I
wanted
do
it
like-
wide view because he liked to look at us because we're all bigger in his screen. I don't know whether that's an indictment on his age
I don't
or
know
not.
if that's a good thing or not. Right, can you explain your thinking behind that statement?
I just like big things, you know?
Hence why he was coaching the line.
Yeah, exactly. It's more cushion for the pushing.
He just likes to see Nick's jug that goes.
Jeez. Oh, well, it's not the first time I've seen Nick do that.
Speaking of Nick's jug, hey, Nick, what's the punt count on the year so far?
Only once so far. I've only had to do it once. Went, I think, for about 40 yards. I didn't get great contact onto it, but only needed to do it once so far. So far, so good. Not having to make any open field tackles as of yet. So that is what I'm really after. Just no open field tackles is what I'm after.
No way.
Are you
Smash it
kidding
long
me?
No
and
way.
out of bounds.
If someone's returning
what
that thing, I expect you to lay them out, Nick.
Damn straight. I want to see video of you just running a 5.9 40 and trying to just plow into this kid.
Just
That's
remember,
generous,
the
5'9".
returners always
5.940. Wow.
the returners always run towards the sideline, Nick, because they really want to get away from everyone. So just run at a sideline, line him up, and run through him. That's all you need to do.
I'm after kicking it out of bounds or like it's going into the end zone, touchback.
No, you got to get.
That's my play here.
Don't you have to perfect the bounce? You got to try and get the point of the ball so it bounces.
I've been trying
backwards.
that. I've been trying that this week. But you got to kick it a certain way. But I think if we're close enough for me to be able to try that, might as well just go for it on 4th down. Just Dan Campbell it. Just go for it. Balls against the ball.
We might have to send you to pro kick or something.
Jeez. Over to the States and everything. Well, half the league's now Aussie punters anyway, so
Can
Yeah,
you
it's
imagine
true.
a big Aussie man getting a punting gig in the States?
Well, have you ever seen that clip of Andy Reid when he was like 12 years old doing a punt pass kick competition in the States?
No.
Oh, you have to find this. Okay, maybe not now, but you have to look that up. Type that up. Andy Reid punt pass kick competition. He's double the size of any other person out there. It's hilarious. Yeah, you have to do it. Andy Reid punt pass kick.
I'll look that up later, Brad.
Yeah,
I will look that up later. Yeah, so it is week 8 in the NFL, as I said at the top. Now, we do have 6 teams on bye this weekend, which does mean 3 less games to talk about. It is huge. This is, I call it Byemageddon. That was a term Matty C used the other day, because in fantasy terms, it is Byemageddon, because it's an absolute shit show trying to choose your teams when you've got 6 teams on bye. And when it's the level of, you've got the Lions, the Rams, the Seahawks, where there's a lot of players in fantasy-wise that come out of those teams. Plus, you got the Raiders, the Cardinals, and the Jags are all on bye this week. That is a ridiculous slate. So it was a tough time trying to pick games to line up for us to have a bit of a chat about, to put into your quad box. So 4 games that we wanted to watch this week. And, of course, we do have a Monday Night Football preview to go through as well. So we got that a bit later on. And I say a bit later on because we're going to start tonight with something that I've been wanting to do for a little while. And that is, of course, our G'day Gridiron power rankings. Now, I got the boys to update their power rankings about 3 weeks ago. It was actually after week 4. Then the entire world went to shit in week 5, where all the teams just decided to do random things. And then our entire world went to shit in terms of daylight savings times and us trying to figure out a time in which we can all get together to have all 4 of us on the one podcast, because we are in 3 different states. So as I mentioned earlier, Isaac and I, it's very late at night. Brad's an hour behind us. Nick is about half hour behind us. Because, in a country this size, why not have random time zones?
Yes. I'm surprised we don't have the quarter time zone, somebody 15 minutes ahead.
I think there was at one point in time. There was like 45 minutes or something, Brad.
I believe it.
And I'm pretty sure it was South Australia again too, because, why not just do whatever the hell you want?
Not only can you marry your cousin, but you can have your time 45 minutes later.
We can't say that. Like, Queensland don't even get on daylight savings times, where the rest of the country does. Like, come on, Queensland.
I don't like it. I wish we did, but whatever.
Daylight savings time in Queensland would be mint. The sun would be up. It'd be perfect weather for going to the shops and doing stuff at like 9 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be perfect.
It'd be great.
I agree, but people here are adamantly against it.
I don't know why you would be. Just silly. Go to work in the dark. Who cares?
Exactly.
So we're going to have a bit of a chat about our power rankings. Now, we've each done our power rankings. I've combined them, put them into an average. So we have the G'day Gridiron power rankings. So let's go through them. We have a little bit of chat about these individual ones, see what sticks out to anybody. Top 5. We got the Lions at 1, the Chiefs at 2, the Colts at 3, the Rams are at 4, and the Eagles at 5. You can see on the right there our individual rankings for some of those teams. There's a couple that kind of stick out, but not a whole lot. I had the Rams at 7, and Isaac had them at 6. But other than that, we're all pretty much lockstep for those top 5, I would say.
I think it shows too that the Colts everyone's starting to believe the Colts hype pretty much. They're staying consistent, so
yep.
I think that's a good one.
I had the Rams down a little, but it's just it's just where some of them are. I had the Bills still up in 5.
I was gonna say there's a big discrepancy between with the Bills. It seems like it's like you and Nick between Isaac and I.
Who is it that's on the far right? Who's on the far right? Is that
Me.
Isaac?
Yeah,
That's
so-
Isaac.
Yeah.
Can I ask? I know you're a Rams fan, so obviously there's. I don't know if you're trying to play this bias or not, but you've got the Broncos ahead of the Rams. What was the thinking behind that?
The Rams haven't been convincing. Like, they should have lost to the Colts. That
Mm.
they had 80 and Mitchell there.
True.
And to go out against the San Francisco 49ers team that didn't have a lot of their wide receivers and lose that game as well, they're the games you've got to be winning, in my personal opinion. So to have them in my top 5, I just couldn't see it. Like, their record should be worse than what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair enough.
Fair enough. I mean, the Broncos definitely should have lost last week against the Giants. I don't know what happened with the Giants there, but yeah, no, I'm quite surprised because obviously both defenses are really good, but like if you're gonna then say that's a wash, and then what's better out of both offenses, like I'd definitely be giving the Rams the edge considering how well Stafford's been playing.
Yeah, the Rams have been playing well on offense, but I don't think Denver have hit their straps yet on offense. So I think they've got some more improving to do.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement. They their offenses look woeful.
Mm.
All right, so next level is the contenders, 6 through 12. We've got Tampa Bay, Packers, Broncos, Seahawks, Bills, 49ers, and the New England Patriots at 12. That all looks pretty standard. I think we've all got them in and around that sixth place. Those 6 places there. As I said, the Bills are in there, who I had higher. And I think Isaac has the Broncos in that range as well, which he had slightly higher, but it all seems pretty right. Or we're pretty together.
The one discrepancy I see with our contenders teams could be with New England. Like Isaac's got them at 8, I've got them at 16. So, which is a significant jump. I'm still personally not sold on the Pats. I think what they've done is been impressive, but just long term wise, I just don't see them that strong. Whereas Isaac, you do.
Yeah, I'm starting to really like Drake May and his connection with Butte and the guys around there, and their defense is going really well under Mike Vrabel. So I see him as pushing the Bills all the way in that division. I still see the Bills winning it in the end, but and I don't have them very high on my rankings because I just think they're really struggling at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, like Nick and Isaac had Tampa Bay a few places higher. Oh, sorry, Nick, Brad and Isaac did, but Nick and I had them both at 9. I had the Bucks. Funnily enough, when we did it in week 4, I had the Bucks firmly in top 5. But since since like 5 through 6, 7, it's been a rough trot, especially last week. And I'm not really judging it on last week. Last week I think was a bit of an anomaly, but the rest of the team, apart from Baker, hasn't been playing that well in those last few games. And then obviously last week Baker had a pretty dismal game with a lot of overthrows and things. But I still think they're up there. But they're definitely top 10 for me. But I had them. It's just funny that I had them in the top 5 after those first few weeks.
Yeah,
I think
just falling
their
apart, though.
offense. Yeah, I was
just
just
falling
about to say,
apart.
Nick.
Yeah.
All their wide receivers are going down at the moment, so it's going to be hard for Baker to find someone to throw it to. Tez Johnson is doing well, though, the rookie, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that's why it sort of dropped them down a bit more. Next level, we have the Dead Sea. Why the Dead Sea? Well, they're not sinking. They're just floating. So they're just sitting there and they're just floating out there. 13 through 18. Steelers, Chargers, Bears, Cowboys, Jags, Vikings. I can't see any problem with any of those teams in through 13 through 18. I think if you put any of them in any order, then I'm pretty okay with it. I had the Bears a lot lower than you guys, a lot lower. I had them down at 21, and you guys have all got them firmly in this level.
So what's your reasoning? You're just still not sold on them.
No, I'm still not sold on the Bears. I think they're too up and down. They, when they're on, it looks really good, but only offensively. I think defensively they're still up and down, but then the offense will just have games where they'll have games where it works, where you can see it's Ben Johnson offense, and then all of a sudden, Caleb especially will revert to doing something that he did last year. And it's
right.
just like they're the things that obviously Johnson's trying to get out of him, but his brain still goes that way, and that's when they fall apart. You can tell they fire when he follows the script and when he follows what he's been taught, but when he goes backwards and he just goes to repressed memories at this point, he just it falls apart, and the whole offense falls apart. So they up, down, up, down, up, down, and I'd like to see them find a bit more consistency, but they've got to find a lot. If they find proper consistency on both sides of the ball, I think that they're up in that top 12, top 10 even.
Yeah.
I think their schedule's helped them out a lot as well. They've had a pretty easy schedule.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. Like, they've had an easy schedule up to this point. So you can call a team the best there possibly is. You could have a team at number 1 right now if you weren't really sort of thinking about how the team functions as a team rather than results. And of course, we're not going on results. We're trying to say how powerful we think a team is, how good we think the actual team is. So, but yeah, I just find that they're flip floppy, and I don't trust that.
Yep.
Purgatory. Thanks for Brad for the name. 19 through 26. We've got the Baltimore Ravens at number 19. Wow, who would have ever thought that? The Falcons, the Commanders, the Panthers, the Bengals, the Texans, the Cardinals, and then the New York Giants at 26. I am so glad that the rest of you were on board with having the Giants up in this sort of 19 to 26 range, this 25, that 24, 25 spot. Because they have shown a lot the last few weeks, especially now that they have actual structure at QB and they're deciding to run plays that make sense.
And imagine what the hype would be if they would have won that game this last week. That would have been awesome. That's all you would have heard though, is just dart, 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 dart. And it would have probably saved Dable's job. Whereas now you can say he's still in limbo. I mean, like, obviously he's turned it around, but and what they're doing, especially the defense is starting to come together. But you can't lose a game like that and have it not affect you and your chances to keep coaching.
Yeah. No, for sure. But Dable, absolutely. Brad, totally agree. And I said that on our reaction show that I don't think he knows how to run a 2-minute drill. Brad, was the thing that I was saying, because it was blatantly obvious. Funnily enough, I love the Panthers. That Isaac is still so in on the Panthers that he's got them at 15.
They've won 3 in a row, mate. They're coming. All they got to do is win games, and
that's all they win this week. Winnable game.
Well, I'll probably get to that there, Nick.
It is a winnable game. I also love that there's just powerhouses down here. The Bengals, the Ravens, the Commanders from last season. It's just funny.
The Commanders one is like they have fallen off a cliff, and they're running into the Chiefs this week. Could get even worse.
It could get even worse. All right, the bottom of Worm Food. The bottom of the power rankings, Worm Food, 27 through 32. Any one of these teams, to be honest, could have the number 1 overall pick in next season's draft. Cleveland Browns, Las Vegas Raiders, New Orleans Saints, Miami Dolphins, Tennessee Titans, and of course, the New York Jets, Jets, the 0-7 Jets. Boys,
and I actually think you've done those bottom 3 teams a favor by actually having them with the rest of those other 4 teams, because they should be on another tier even below Those are the teams that
Yes.
you've got there.
Well,
100%.
a couple of these teams have to play each other at some point.
Oh,
So somebody is going
Little
to
draw.
They're all on one win teams now at the moment. So somebody's going to get a second win. I think I'm referring Saints and Titans at some point have to play each other. So one of those teams is going to get a second win or draw, which is going to screw the whole thing up. So, they're all about the same at the moment, Nick. And I put them all there because, again, like any one of those 6 teams could have the number 1 overall pick, I feel. It'll be an absolute race to the bottom if they win, if they all lose the next 2 or 3 games.
yeah. I think the Saints and the Browns are showing a bit more than the other 4 teams that are there.
Yeah.
I think the bottom 3 that we've got there, Miami, Tennessee, and the Jets, they are just hopeless. There is no turning back for them. I think they should just tank the rest of the season. But yeah, the Saints have showed more than what I thought they were going to do this year. So that's why I've got them above those 3.
Yeah, I've got them up too because that exact reason, mate. It's at the start of the season when we did preseason power rankings, everybody had the Saints at the bottom, and I think that they have shown a bit more. So I brought them up some, but they're not a great team. They are doing well, better than expected. That's what I said last week, wasn't it?
Yeah,
better than expected. So,
That's a ringing endorsement.
hey, better than expected.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's better than doing worse than expected.
It's positivity, Brad.
It's the play on words, Brad.
It is.
Oh.
All right, so that's the G'day Gridiron Power Rankings coming out of week 7. We'll do the exercise again in a couple more weeks and see where we wash out, see who changed. We'll see go ups and downs at that point, and see where that washes out in a few more weeks' time, and we'll keep up with that every few weeks, I think, until the end of the season. At some point, we might start just firing a few teams off out into space and not have to talk about them again. It's not far off for the Jets, to tell you that right now.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
So
We haven't already done that.
Yeah. All right. So we've got 5 games to get through in a relatively quick space of time right now. Otherwise,
Boom, boom, boom.
Isaac is going to just be asleep on the keyboard, 2023 Manjot style. So, and that's a deep reference for anybody who's ever been a part of our AGN community. Just heard the stories. So, let's kick it off with Isaac. How about that, Isaac? What have you chosen for a game you want to watch for week 8?
So this week I've chosen the Bills versus the Panthers.
Woohoo! We got a
Yeah.
matchup. Look out.
I got I got my Panthers, baby. All right, so the Panthers have won 3 in a row, while the Bills are coming off the bye and 2 straight losses. The Bills' defense has been pretty poor this season so far. The PFF have them ranked 25th in the league, and the secondary is really struggling at the moment. This could be a really big game for Ted McMillan. With that secondary struggling, Andy Dalton will try and sling it, I believe. So he'll be looking to have a big game because Bryce Young's injured. So Dalton, I believe, has been made the starter already.
Yes.
And that brings the question, are the Bills going to bring the pressure on Andy Dalton? Will they be bringing blitzers to try and get him to release that ball quicker? Josh Allen needs to start turning things around, and I think that starts with getting James Cook involved early to release the play action. It's a big game for both teams. The Panthers are looking to stay in touch with the Bucks, who have the Saints this week, and the Bills are looking to stick with the Pats, who have the Browns this week. So both of those teams, the Patriots and the Bucks, could win their game. So whoever loses this game might slightly lose touch with their division leader.
The one stat that I found interesting was that in the Shane McDermott era, the Bills are perfect following the bye. They are 8-0, which I
Mm.
found that. Yeah, I actually found that really.
That's an Andy Reid type stat, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
So, and do we know is what's the injury report on Bryce Young? Sorry,
He's
I think he's got a
Probably
sprained
out.
ankle or something.
is
Yeah,
he?
he's
But
out.
okay,
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
Dalton time. It's
So they're gonna go Red
Yeah.
Rifle, which is uh, it depends on who shows up. Is it going to be the Cincinnati Bengals Red Rifle or is it going to be the Dallas Cowboys Red Rifle? Because, or I should say Dallas Cowboys BB gun when he was there. Because it's so I think it's just who you're going to get. But but coming off of a bye, personally, I'm leaning Buffalo on this one big time.
they're
Yeah,
they're 7.5
well,
point favorites right now too.
yeah, and I think that attributes to Bryce Young being out for sure. With Andy Dalton coming in, you sort of don't know what you're going to expect from what the Panthers are going to do this week. But I think what they should be leaning into is their run game, which has been really good this year.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
they've got Hubbard coming back. He came back last week, so they've almost got like a two-headed monster now because Dowdle's improved this season when he took over that starting role. So um, for the Bills side of things, though, the last sort of couple of weeks they've a little bit sort of unraveled in terms of offensively. I think Josh Allen had about 6 or 7 interceptions last year. He's already got 4 this year so far, and most of those coming in these last sort of 2 games. Definitely need to get back to the run game as well, which has been working most of this year. So I do think, whilst Carolina has been a lot better defensively this year and their run game has been quite good, Buffalo, 2 weeks they sort of had, just quite a bit of bad. Well, they lost a bad divisional game at home against New England. They haven't done that in a while. And then obviously the week before against Atlanta. But coming off a bye, like you said, Brad, like I think Josh Allen is 7-0, coming off a bye, which obviously feeds into the Sean McDermott stat. So he's had the most wins without a loss in NFL history coming off a bye, Josh Allen. So they're definitely well equipped once they have that break and everything. And so to be honest, I think the only way the Panthers can really keep it close in this game is if they control the clock, control time possession, run the ball a lot, which they can do. But that's also something that the Bills do quite well as well. So like lines that I've sort of looked at, the one I don't know what you guys have got, but Rico Dowdle
Oh yeah.
over 11.5 rushing attempts. So obviously the Bills run defense hasn't been as good. I think they're bottom 2 or 3 statistically in the league at the moment. And obviously, we spoke about the Panthers' great rushing attack. So Hubbard is back, like we said, but Dowdle still in great form, and he'll get plenty of the rock as well, particularly if Dalton is going to start.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle for sure, mate. His under over line is still at 50.5. Still very low for a guy that has been hitting that most weeks out of the last 7 weeks. So his alternate rush line is a great pickup right now. Righto. Let's move on to the next game. Brad, why don't you give us the game you want to watch this week?
Who doesn't want to watch your Baltimore Ravens versus the Chicago Bears? I mean, does it get any more exciting than that?
Brad, I am super interested to know why you picked the Ravens, 19 in our power rankings, versus the Chicago Bears, who are 15 in our power rankings.
Well, yeah, exactly. Who doesn't like a little mediocrity? Welcome to my love life.
Mediocre Bowl 2025.
That's right. Exactly. No, I think both these teams are a little bit deceptive. I think the Ravens. Well, let's face it. Nobody's done more during a bye week to fix their problems than the Ravens. Ping pong table gone. Basketball hoop
Gone.
gone. Video game consoles gone.
Gone.
cornhole boards
Cornhole,
in the
Brad.
locker room.
How the cornhole? They've got cornhole in the locker room.
Exactly. um, yeah, I'm going to stay away from that one because I don't want to get banned. So a cornhole.
What are you doing with
You know,
cornhole boards in the locker room?
yeah, it's just oh yeah, welcome to America. But they don't, that's going to be their big solution is getting all this stuff gone out of the way. Oh, by the way, Lamar Jackson's might be back and is practicing again. So, I mean, it was 7 years ago when Lamar kind of already saved Harbaugh's job when he was on the fence, and so now he's doing it again. But really, I think the biggest thing is going to be their defense. They're getting Hamilton's playing well. They're getting Roquan Smith back. So I think that's where you're going to see the change, really. And because it's their defenses that have been killing them. That they need, and the fact that Lamar's not been there. Derrick Henry looks old a little bit. He's been doing okay, but I think he's lost a step, and so it's going to be one of these back and forth games in the sense of also I feel like the Bears they're riding high, and I'm curious to see, can they keep evolving under this Ben Johnson offense? Are they and that's kind of what Ben is known for, making all these different changes, and he's always coming up with different iterations. And I think that's the only way you're going to see the Bears succeed. But if they just kind of continue to be status quo, then I don't think it's going to be that close, really. I think I'm taking Baltimore. Even with the points, because they're 6.5, I think is what they're favored by.
Correct. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, the last time a losing team has come in as the favorite over a winning team, a losing team under the 200 winning percentage has come in as the favorite over a winning team. That losing team typically covers the spread like 2/3 of the time. So it's historically Baltimore should win this game, and I think they will as well. Their season's riding on this. There's no way. I don't care what you say. You go 1-6, you're done. If you go 2-5, at least you've got some hope in the game.
Yeah, the Ravens got rid of everything out of their locker room except the problem, which is the coach that should have to try and fix why their defense has been so bad and why their offense can't function when you just take away. And this is it's not an isolated issue to this season either. When you take Lamar Jackson away, this offense cannot function at all, period. So when Lamar Jackson is there, you have the wide receivers are on, the tight ends are on, the running backs and Derrick Henry are on. The O-line plays better the whole time, just when he is there. But when you take just him away, the rest of them just go to water, and that's a Harbaugh problem. And they've gotten rid of everything but John Harbaugh. If they go 1-6, Brad, that seat is very, 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 very hot, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll do anything during the season, but it's definitely hot.
Couple of interesting things out of the Sportsbet tips and match insights. Hey, Sportsbet, hit us up. The Bears have lost 8 of their last 9 road games against teams that held a losing record. They're a get-right team. Good Lord. 2 of the last 3 games between the Bears and the Ravens have gone to overtime. That's paying $12 right now on Sportsbet. Will there be overtime?
Wow. There you go.
That's so that's pretty interesting. Well, I think 6.5 is a bit of an insult to the Bears, who are on a 4-game winning streak. And I know a couple of those have been really close, but that is the point. Even with Lamar back, if this ends up as a close game and closer than 6.5, I think the Bears win it. And I'm kind of fence sitting at the moment, but I love the fact that you said about covering the spread, Brad, which is 49.5. The total is 49.5 as well. So I think when you get into those higher numbers at 49.5, 50 plus, covering that 6.5 spread is bang on. So I think the Bears, I'm fence sitting right now, and I'm going to have to make up my mind as to which game I'm going to pick for our tipping competition. But that's where I'm leaning.
The thing I'm really worried about is Lamar's a runner of the ball, and a hamstring injury is not a good thing for a runner. So if he goes to take off and it just tweaks, then he's gone, and you're getting Cooper Rush back in, or Snoop Huntley, or whoever the backup is for that week. So that's my only concern for Baltimore there, that if he does play, that taking off or running the ball, which is his specialty, will be hampered by that.
It's not just his specialty; it's a necessity, like what you said. They're a shell themselves without it.
And definitely, what I would say with Lamar, even if he can't run, they have to then use Derrick Henry, because Chicago's rush defense has not been very good at all this year. I think they're bottom 4 or 5 statistically. But this game is going one of two ways. It really is going one of two ways. Baltimore hits their stride and they win this game 34-14, something like that.
Oof.
Or, it's sort of a 28-27, Chicago find the way. But I really can't see Chicago in, like, if Lamar Jackson's maybe 80% of what his best is in this game, like, I still think Baltimore wins this by quite a bit. As you said, Brad, with those guys coming back on defense, is going to help. And their last game out, like, obviously they ended up getting smashed by the Rams because, they couldn't do anything offensively. But they only did concede 17 points in that game, and that's a pretty high-powered offense. So are the wheels starting to get into motion? And if they win this game, and convincingly, the big question is, are they getting all their toys back? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. No kidding. That's the important things, apparently.
Yeah. I want them all to come out and go up to Harbaugh after, and we want our toys, like, if they win this game convincingly.
Where's my damn foosball table?
All right, moving on. Let's go to my game. Cowboys at Broncos. Two teams that are coming off wins from last weekend, two statement wins from last weekend. The Dallas Cowboys were out 41-22 against the Commanders last week by the end of the third quarter. They absolutely dominated the Washington Commanders everywhere on the pitch. Kept Jaden Daniels to only 156 yards passing. They had 136 yards on rushing as team total. Absolutely dominated them. And to a point where Daniels went out with an injury, Marcus Mariota had to come in. But the Cowboys and Dak Prescott played amazingly. Javonte Williams was back and just smashing yards down everybody's throat on the Commanders' side. CeeDee Lamb came back in with a big statement to make, ended up with 110 yards and a touchdown. And George Pickens, once again, what a fantastic pickup for that team. But the story of last week, of course, was the Denver Broncos in a thrilling win against the New York Giants 33-32, where they came back and scored 33 points in the fourth quarter alone. And Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos showed that they really do have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with the big boys if you can put them into that realm. And I think this week against the Cowboys, not that we often call the Cowboys the big boys, but coming off such a big win, I think they're going to be riding a high. They definitely have the toys in their locker room right now. I think this is going to be a fantastic test for the Broncos. Broncos are at home, so by that as well, it's going to be a fantastic test to see if we can see who the Cowboys actually are. So the Broncos are 5-2, the Cowboys are 3-1 with that dreaded draw. If the Cowboys lose this one, I'm not sure about the rest of their schedule as they move forward a little bit. They could get down on themselves a bit. But if the Broncos win this one and go out to 6-2, I think they're going to cement themselves in that top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think what concerns me about that Broncos is their offense. Their offense is just it's not clicking. And yeah, they've found ways to win, so you can't fault them for that. They've done what they needed to, but it's I just don't think that's a legitimate offense. So I worry about them being top five. I think it would not surprise me at all as a Cowboys fan myself, or although we are on hiatus, we're taking a break this year. It's they. I wouldn't surprise me if they win this game. People get hyped up. Cowboys, oh yeah, they've got it figured out. Defense going to get better. Going to make the
We're
playoffs,
going all the way,
and
Brad.
then exactly,
All the way.
and then they wet the bed. So uh, I think that's entirely the hype machine would be in overdrive if they win this game. And in order for them to win it, they got to protect Dak. They got to be able to effectively run the ball, and they're going to have to put some pressure on Nick. So it's going to be a fun game. It'll be a good game to watch, but and I think it's going to be a close game personally.
I love the way Dak's playing this year.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
been really, really good. And it helps that CD Lamb, with CD Lamb coming back and George Pickens taking another step. It's a bit of a matchup thing this week. The high-powered offense of the Cowboys versus the high-powered defense of the Broncos, and then the if the Broncos offense can get going against that defense, then I think the Broncos might win by a little bit more. But if they're stuck in the mud like they were for the first 3 quarters of last week, then I think the Cowboys will run up another score on them.
Well, it's funny, you say that, Isaac, because the whole year Denver weirdly offensively has been a fourth quarter team. Like in terms of offensively, you know, I came
mm.
across a stat that was quite strange. So, um, this season, so in between the first and third quarters, they've scored 92 points. In the last quarter this season, they've scored 71 points. So
Jeez.
they turn it on and a
Yeah,
lot of
they
that
do.
is obviously attributed to last week, but even by
I was
Nix's
going to say
numbers, like
33 of that.
33 of them were last week.
33 of them were
Fourth
last
quarter.
week. And then you look at Bo Nix, like his individual sort of play. So, he goes from those first 3 quarters from an 81 passer rating, 81 passer rating to a 104 passer rating. And he goes from a 60% completion percentage to a 69% completion percentage. So this is a team that really does turn it on quite late. And to your point there, Isaac, like I feel like if Dallas, if they had won a few more games, or if they continue to go on a great run, like you could argue that Dak could be an MVP candidate this year.
Mhm.
Like he's fourth in completion percentage, third in yards per play, and second, I think, in passing touchdowns. I think behind potentially Matt Stafford. So, he's had a ripper year. And one thing I would ask you, Brad, is do you think that this year has been more about like that getting back to what he was maybe a couple of years ago, or is it more so maybe Schottenheimer is better than people think? Because I've been trying to pinpoint it offensively myself, and obviously the addition of Pickens has helped. But is this more so maybe a bit more credit should be given to Schottenheimer, maybe?
Yeah, personally, I think so. I think the McCarthy did some good things. Obviously, he won 12 games in a row for 3 seasons, or 12 games, 3 seasons in a row. But his offense becomes stale, and teams kind of had it figured out. And I think Schottenheimer, everything he's done, I think, has been awesome. And he just makes
Agreed.
people want to root for him. And it's just, their defense has blowed hard. So I think it's the stuff that he's done on offense, the motions, and him putting Dak in good situations, and the big thing is, obviously I still read a lot and listen to a lot of Cowboys podcasts and crap. Is he's he's given Dak confidence. And Dak, and for a quarterback, we've seen it with all these resurgence of these quarterbacks this year. Um, a quarterback, once they have confidence and they have rhythm, it they can do some amazing things, and it just shows what a fine line it is between success and just kind of and mediocrity or flunking out of the league. So hats off to Schottenheimer for everything he's done. I think he deserves a lot more credit.
Couple of lines here for this game. It's all about receiving yards and rushing yards. CD Lamb, 80-plus receiving yards, is just a touch over $2. That guy hasn't gone under 100 except for when he was out. George Pickens, 60-plus receiving yards. Similarly, he's achieved that in 4 out of the last 5 games. He's just a touch under $2. And J.K. Dobbins, 70-plus rush yards, is sitting at $1.74 on Sportsbet right now. And again, he has achieved that in 4 out of the last 5 games. They are some
Another
great,
one for you, Ian.
That's some great money. Yeah, go.
That's another one that's 4 of the last 5 games, and obviously for Denver, a lot of their focus is going to be on the 2 main receivers. So so Tan going to CD Lamb, and obviously they'll have some focus on George Pickens. But another great tight end in this league, Jake Ferguson, for 6+ receptions. Again, another one.
Ferg.
4 of the last 5 games. So another value, and that was $2 as well on Sportsbet.
This isn't tight end week, is it?
No, that was last week. What a week! What a week it was.
No, hang on. No, I think wasn't last week running back
week.
Oh yeah, last week was running back week.
This week is tight ends.
It is tight end week.
Oh, so we've got to load up on it.
We're gonna have to load up on some tight ends this week.
I know a guy last year who bet on anytime touchdowns for a bunch of those tight ends and a parlay and multi, and he hit it. He won thousands of dollars. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be trawling through for some tight end stuff.
Everything over. Anything tight end over.
Yeah, Ferguson is a great one, actually, because he is right up there in their receiving core. And if they're going to throw the ball at any point, like really get in and start throwing the ball, then, yeah, he's going to do some numbers. Do some damage. Good old Fergie Ferg. All right, cool. Nick, you're last up in games we want to watch this week. Who have you chosen?
I have got the Master versus the Apprentice. Jordan Love against Aaron Rodgers. The Packers going to Pittsburgh.
Padawan.
Yes. Now, 2 teams both coming into this game 4 wins starting the year from 2 slightly sort of weird angles coming into this game. So like the Packers, ever since the Parsons trade, on that sort of Parsons trade, obviously there was a lot of hype behind them. First time that they've got a star pass rusher who can really help them on their defensive front, and only losing sort of the 1 game. They have been, I think it's fair to say, a good team, not a great team. Statistically, if you look across the board, they're top 10 in a lot of different things offensively, like they can move the ball. They haven't turned it over a bunch, but in most of their games, they haven't quite put together, 4 full quarters of actually playing offense. So it's really been sort of, they get off to a quick start, or they come back late, or it's quite weird how they've sort of been working this year. But regardless, they're still managing to still win their games. On the flip side, for the Steelers, Mike Tomlin teams are usually known for their fast starts, but in their case, it's usually their defense that is the one that's holding the fort. This year, it's been a bit of the opposite. The defense has sort of shown a bit of their age. TJ Watt, still a great player, but has shown it a little bit in terms of he's on the back 9 of his career now with, being past 30 and, got that massive bag in the off season. But it's actually their offense has actually been holding them up a bit more. And, they're such a big team with all their weapons. You've got Washington, you've got Metcalf, you've got the 2-headed tight end monster with Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. So they've got a lot of size, and One thing I had noticed as well with the Steelers, two sort of weird stats because the first couple games, I think Aaron Rodgers got sacked 7 times in his first 7 games. So since then they've sort of retooled it. So they're the second best team in the NFL for pressure percentage allowed now in their last 4 games. And in their last four
Really?
games as well, Aaron Rodgers is the second fastest seconds to throw in the
Mm,
NFL. So
hmm
they'll identify that obviously the offensive line doesn't hold up very well, so they get the ball out quick. Now, they're not a very quick team. They're not a team with a lot of pace. Like we said, they've got a lot of size. They can run through, maybe break a few tackles, but in the form of strength, not more so than speed. Like they're not going to beat you over the top. So is this a winning way for them going forward with quick passes and everything like that with this team? And I think that's maybe the only route that they do have, considering Aaron Rodgers and his age. Now, just a bit off topic. Now, this would be the first time that Aaron Rodgers will be facing the Green Bay Packers, of course. The first Master versus Apprentice game that Aaron Rodgers has been involved in since obviously he and Brett Favre faced off. And in that first meeting, Brett Favre did get the better of him in those first 2 matchups. So something to look out for. But on the back of that, a bit of motivation. Now, Aaron Rodgers now inviting in Jordan Love, who was his replacement years ago. So I think there's going to be a lot with this game where there's a bit of pride here for Aaron Rodgers. All the talk, he's wanting all the talk for this game after this game being, did they make the right decision? Did they pull the pin too early? Should they have drafted with need when they were knocking on the doorstep in that NFC title game? So one line I did find was Aaron Rodgers going for more than 225 passing yards was actually $2. And he's done that in 3 of his last 4 games. So definitely a bit of value. And yes, the Packers really got up and about in terms of, I think Parsons had 3 sacks last week. So he's finally getting everything into gear for himself. But definitely a game where, Aaron Rodgers, revenge game for him. We've seen revenge games this year before. So I think it's definitely could be something, a bit of pride on the line for him.
Yeah, I think you broke that down really well. The key is going to be that offensive line and how quickly he's going to be able to get it out. You can see they're in rhythm. In terms of the Pittsburgh Arthur Smith combo, and I like what they're doing. I like Arthur Smith's offense and Rodgers. The thing that impresses me is that Rodgers is playing within the offense. He's not doing his typical check, throw the slants and all that kind of stuff. He actually is playing really well, like how you'd want him to. So, if they can do anything like that, yeah, I think they could come out and win this game.
Yeah, I'm liking the revenge game for Aaron Rodgers as well. I think he's going to be really motivated to win this one. It's just depending on if the other teammates show up for him, and I think he'll be having a lot of talks about what this game means to him, and I think they'll come out and get the win actually.
Spread is 3.5 points to the Packers away from home. 45.5 for the total. So I don't know. I feel bad. Pick the way the Steelers are playing. I feel it's tough to pick against the Steelers at home. The way that they're playing right now, even though it is the Packers, and that Jordan Love and the Packers have been playing really, really well. So they've been getting better and better.
One concerning thing for Green Bay is Tucker Kraft, their tight end, is their leading receiver at the moment. So
it's not surprising. I really thought I thought Golden for sure would have more by now, but he's getting more and more every week.
Yeah.
It's not surprising because we didn't know who the wide receiver one was coming into the season. But yeah, I thought Golden would have taken over within the first couple of weeks, but it hasn't been that way. A tight end line. I found a tight end line, Nick, and it wasn't hard to go and find one. Pat Frymuth, anytime touchdown.
Ooh.
Let's go. He got 2 last week.
He did, yes.
Yeah, so.
Didn't all 3 of their tight ends catch a touchdown last week?
They did. Darnell Washington did as well.
Yeah.
That dude is gigantic.
Oh, he is a beast.
And I watched Aaron Rodgers throw over the top of him, and I was like, how? He's 8 foot tall. How are you throwing over the top of that man? Like, it's how are you missing it? He didn't hit the one he caught in the end zone, his touchdown catch. He didn't even have to jump. He does jump. He like lifts his, and when he jumps, it's like his upper body, his head doesn't really elevate. It stayed in one spot, but his legs just came up and went back down again, and it was hilarious. Everyone else would have to jump to even try and get to that ball, and no, Darnell Washington, no. It's just the guy's a mountain.
He's the Victor Wembanyama,
something like that.
Victor Wembanyama.
So,
yeah, the same build as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's like 4 Victor Wembanyama width-wise.
That guy's huge. It's unbelievable. Hey, randomly, just before we jump on to Monday Night Football, Nick mentioned Aaron Rodgers' time to pass, or his time to throw in the Steelers this season. Last week, 2 guys that were quicker on time to throw than Aaron Rodgers last week. Justin Herbert, no real surprise there, but I was watching that Chargers game and I was like, this kid is just like mini Rodgers, the way he deals it. The other guy, Joe Flacco. That guy was Mr. First Read last week.
Yeah.
He was just like, he was like, 2 steps, throw, 2 steps, throw, 2 steps, throw.
Yep.
2 steps throw, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
2 steps throw, Jamar Chase.
That ball was coming out of his hand like lightning. And that was like, Joe Flacco gets those every year when he plays in the league. He gets 1 or 2 of those games. That was one of them.
That was one of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether those 1 or 2 reset now that he's changed teams, but whether we might get more out of him. But yeah. But honestly, watching Herbert, in my mind, straight away, I was like, this is mini Rodgers, the way he plays. And he has to be as well because his O-line is so terrible. So terrible. All right, Monday Night Football. I digress. Commanders at Chiefs on Tuesday here in Australia. Monday Night Football. Going to be a pretty interesting game. The Chiefs last week showed us that they can still be the Chiefs and absolutely dominated in their game, whereas the Commanders were dominated, as I just talked about a little bit earlier, by the Cowboys. Unbelievably dominated. Jaden Daniels looks to be out. I think he is out already, so it's going to be a Marcus Mariota game once again. Up against the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Well, I'm not sure how this goes for the Commanders, but I don't think that they can afford to lose this game against the Chiefs either. They are 3-4. Both teams are, the Commanders are 3-4, Chiefs are 4-3. So they're both sort of sitting right around the same level in terms of wins and losses. But the Chiefs, to me, are finally looking like they might actually figure out that they need to actually look like a complete team during the regular season to be able to actually do something this year. They can't just fumble their way to the playoffs and then be amazing. Whereas the Washington Commanders, holy hell, that sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels has well and truly hit, Brad.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just he's going to have to develop a little bit and change his style of play because he can't take those hits. He just can't. You're seeing the toll on his body, and that is not sustainable football, not in the NFL. So, and you've seen it. The only way you can stick around, that's how Lamar, he's had to adjust and just pick and choose his spots. So, yeah, I think the Commanders are headed in the wrong direction this season, and I don't see them being able to right the ship against the Chiefs. And I think you're right; the Chiefs are starting to figure it out. That defense is starting to come together. Andy Reid is being Andy Reid. They're being really creative with their offense and the motions and how they get the ball to different players, and he just puts people in the positions to succeed. And it's time and time again. It's just people act so surprised that Andy Reid is this genius. All he's doing is just coaching to players' strengths, and it's not that difficult when you think about it. Is to say, what can this guy do the best? Okay, let's figure it out and let's do it. And he does it so often, and he does it well. It's a joy to watch.
Isaac, the biggest spread of the weekend, 12.5 points to the Chiefs. The Commanders are giving up.
So the biggest.
Yeah, I think it's warranted too, because the Commanders' defense can't stop anything at the moment. Like they got 44 put on them by a high-powered Dallas team, and the Chiefs are starting to hit their straps. Rashid Rice comes back last week, scores 2 touchdowns on return. Mind you, they were only playing the Raiders, but still they've got to go out there. And Patrick Mahomes, the way he's been playing is he's another MVP level guy that we need to talk about. So I as you said before, Ian, I don't think it's trending in the right direction for the Commanders. McLaurin might still be out. Deebo Samuel might be out. Like this, it could be ugly.
Very, very ugly. It's funny for the Commanders because it was actually the reverse of what's happened last year. We see the late game drama between the Bears and the Commanders last year and what happened there, and then the Bears fell off. Commanders went on a run. This year it seems like it's the same in terms of how the results gone and what happens with those teams. So like the Bears won, they've gone on a bit of a run. The Commanders now pull back. So obviously after that, last week they lost to the Cowboys. Now they've got the Chiefs. Doesn't get any easier. A week after they've got Seattle, then Detroit. Then they're at Miami before the bye. Then after that they've got Denver. So yeah, they need to get a move on. I mean, for the Chiefs, they're getting back together. Like the offense was the biggest thing, the passing game. It's coming back together. They've got depth now, receiver. They'll be fine. They're pretty much their only concern offensively now is that if they can get a proper consistent run game, but they'll still be able to manage, even if it's a bit choppy and changey, their run game, because of how much depth they've got at receiver now. Defensively, they're a lot better, but the only thing you can really point to as to how Washington might have an in on this game is that the Chiefs do have a short, obviously with it being a short week, both these teams will have a short week, sorry, but the Chiefs next week do play the Bills, so it could be one of those games where they've sort of got their sights set on the week after. So maybe something late where if the Commanders can stay in the game, they've been a pretty good run team this year, so if they can control the clock, make sure they're pushing it along and trying to, force turnovers and everything like that can keep them in the game. Because maybe it could be something where the Chiefs look ahead. I doubt it, but that might be the only way in. But realistically, I do think that the Chiefs will run away with it.
Absolutely. Zach Ertz is the team's second. He said he's second in yards, reception yards. He leads the team in reception TDs with 4 so far this season. 4 is not a lot. 7 weeks in, by the way. How about Zach Ertz at 335 for an anytime touchdown on tight end week?
Especially if Deebo and McLaurin don't play, he'll be his favourite receiver.
Yeah. I would have picked Zach Ertz anyway without it being tight end week. Now that you guys reminded me that it's tight end week, I'm like, oh, that's all going there. Travis Kelce has had bugger all this year, but Travis is going to show up on tight end week. They're going to do it just because that's just what Mahomes will do. So, yeah, look out for that. I'm not going to go that way because I'm not some jabroni. But Zach Ertz at 335 is pretty good money for a guy that is probably going to get the majority of the ball. 12.5 though. I can't believe that line. Is that the biggest we've seen so far this year?
No, the Bills had 16.5
right.
against the Saints.
Yes, that's right.
The Colts are 14.5 against Tennessee this week. I've just checked
Are they really?
well.
I didn't even look that far down. Really?
Yeah.
Because I didn't look at
It is
Colts
in
Tennessee
Indy.
game. It's not like we were going to pick the
no
Colts
one
at
is,
Tennessee to talk about. But
Yeah, 14.5. That's what I
Indiana
said.
Jones, look out. This, we weren't going to talk about this game, but the bad thing about this for the Colts, specifically is the Colts Titans game, is that it should have been an Anthony Richardson game. By all counts, you get to this point, and if they were destroying him in the second by the second half, he should have been in for a half of football. But this guy just decided to destroy an eye socket now. So see you later. Is what it is. All right. Awesome. That's 4 games that we want to watch and a Monday Night Football preview for Week 8 in the NFL. As I said, Byemageddon. It's going to be huge, huge week just to sort of watch and see if any of these teams do well and if any of these games get interesting. We will have a reaction show on the other side of the week, and those reaction shows have been getting bigger with Isaac, doing a bunch of the work for us, putting the word out and collating a bunch of reactions from genuine fans of the NFL in Australia. Check it out on the NFL Fans Down Under Facebook group. We'll chuck a post in there looking for your reactions sometime around Monday afternoon. You can also keep a lookout on our Instagram and our Facebook, which you'll find all the links for at linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network, as well as all the links to the boys in fantasy, Manjot's Pastry Press. And as we've talked about for several weeks here, we chucked the call out to everybody to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you can find by searching for Aussie Gridiron Network or just G'day Gridiron if you like. Either way, either one will do. We chucked the call out to try and get people to subscribe and get us over that 1,000 subscriber mark. And you know what? We did it. We absolutely did it.
Hey, there we go.
We are
now we're talking.
We're currently sitting at 1.01k subscribers on our YouTube channel. So let's aim for the next goal. Let's go for 1,200.
1 million.
Let's go there. Let's baby steps. 1,200, 1.2k. Let's go. Let's get us there. If you haven't checked us out on YouTube yet, please do jump over there, like and subscribe to that. And you can listen to and watch the majority of, well, you can listen to all the podcasts there. You can watch our podcast specifically on there. Manjot does a whole bunch of shorts and stuff as well here and there when he can during game weeks. So go and check out all that and do everything there, please. As I said, linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. Thank you very much for joining us. Until the other side of Week 8 and a reaction show, see you later.